Hello and welcome back to the Blues Focus podcast. Once again, I'm glad to be joined by Zach Woods and Jamie Lawler. Afternoon, lads. How are you doing?
Buzzing.
Loving
Jamie?
life after last night.
Fucking great night. It really was. In today's episode, we shall be, of course, talking about that incredible win last night against West Brom at home. 2-0 victory. Hannibal and Bielik's first goal for the club. As well, we continue to do the protests outside the ground in the streets of Birmingham, walking up to the game. I was there. My brother was at the front holding up the banner throughout the whole entire thing. He's been in pretty much every single photo I've seen. We'll be talking about that as well as looking at the Cardiff game, which is on Tuesday night, actually. There's been so many games recently that I've just not really been able to keep up with who's next and what's coming up next. I always thought, I thought earlier in the season we had Norwich at around this time. I was looking further ahead and I'm thinking, bloody hell, we've not got them for ages now. So we've got Cardiff next, haven't we? And then Huddersfield.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea when we've got Norwich
Luton,
away.
I believe, after Huddersfield. And then Norwich is...
Norwich is this month.
Yeah, I think Norwich might be after Luton.
Right. I thought
Don't quote me on it. Don't quote me on it, but it might be. I don't know. I think that's what it is. We do our research, as you can see here on the podcast.
This is like the most unprofessional podcast in the history. But that's why you love it. That's why you love it. Or maybe you hate it, who am I to say? But yeah, let's crack on. Let's get into this. Zach, you're very buzzed up for this. So kick us off. What did you think to last night?
Yeah, I'll try not to speak for 5 minutes because there's genuinely so much I could say and I want to say. But I said it before the podcast. I think that's one of my favourite Blues games ever. Obviously, haven't, as I said, supported the club as long as you guys since about 2013-14. But genuinely, I think that's one of my favourite Blues games ever. I think that's one of the best performances I've ever seen, and I'll tell you why. I think West Brom have seriously turned things around this season and are looking a superb outfit, especially going forward. Keeping a good number of clean sheets as well. We did not give West Brom 60 seconds last night to get back into the game. They hardly had any opportunities. They hardly had any chances at our goal. They did not look threatening at a single moment in that game. I cannot believe how quiet we kept such a good attacking side. So defensively, I thought we were incredible. Going forward, we were playing some passes I haven't seen Blues play before in a very long time, especially down the two wings. Some lovely one-touch football. We were moving the ball comfortably. The way we set up last night and our structure, we were just so solid. Like there seemed hardly any gaps. We pressed from the front. There is so many positives to take from last night. It's genuinely unbelievable. And I can't believe I'm saying that after the form we've been on recently. But last night, one of my favourite Blues games ever. I think just the protests before it were very effective. Or obviously, they're not out of the club. But you know what I mean? They got the message out there. Obviously, I was on Sky Sports as well last night, which is fantastic. More publicity for BSHL out. But just a fantastic night for Blues. A great night. For us fans, it was just an unbelievable performance.
Spot on, yeah. Jamie, anything to add to that?
What more can you add to that? It's summarised everything perfectly. The atmosphere was absolutely electric. The protests went well. They went peaceful. No one got hurt. No stupidity happened. It was great. What you said, Zach, bang on. Performance-wise, to a man, I can't fault anyone. To a man, everyone grafted. Everyone worked hard. I don't ever want to see any comment about Djukovic's past it after last night again, because that man ran his heart and soul out for an hour. I don't think he actually lost the fucking header yesterday. He was unreal. Everyone played well. Everyone was great. Kevin Long was superb for me at the back at times. Sanderson was unbelievable. I can't think of someone to whinge about. The vision from Hannibal to score that and Bielik finally scoring. Just everything just worked. It was a perfect day. West Brom was shite, and that is the worst goalkeeper I think I've seen down St Andrews in a long time.
I think I was expecting Bielik's first goal to be an absolute scorcher after the efforts he's had in recent times.
A volley, top bin.
To have like a really pathetic header at the back post and just in. It just caught me off guard as well because
I never realised he scored. I saw the ball coming in. I saw the keeper coming out for it, and then I just literally looked away for a second. Like, fucking keeper's gone in there. The roar. I was like, no,
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. And what you said, Jamie, there wasn't a poor performer on that pitch last night, and there really wasn't. I think Trusty looks just as comfortable as left back as he does centre back. And I was, funnily enough, for some reason, I very rarely watch a player individually. But against Blackburn, I just spent 3 or 4 minutes just solely watching Trusty, like just watching exactly what Trusty does. And he is such a technical defender, and he defends with such assurance and such excellence, and his decision making is second to none. I said this to my dad last night. Trusty, and you might disagree with this, or since being in the Championship, Trusty is the best centre half I've seen down Blues. I think his technical ability, his decision making, his speed, his ability to win the ball both in the air and general challenges. Trusty is superb, and he just looks just as comfortable as left back as he does centre. I mean, do you think there's a better centre half we've had in the Championship?
I'm raking my head now, trying to go through centre backs we've had.
Michael Morrison maybe is a close call.
Curtis Davis
Close,
first
but
season down.
Maybe, yeah. Davis was a sort of on the edge of Premier League player, wasn't he, at the time?
Yeah.
He's a
I don't
close
think I wasn't a fan then. So
No,
certainly when
no.
I've been a fan, so from the 2014 season or whatever, I thought
shit.
Trusty. Yeah, but honestly, I think Trusty's superb. But moving away from Trusty, individually, no one had a bad performance. Hannibal and Bielik obviously spoke for themselves. Chong, I thought, was excellent last night. Bakuna is, I said a few podcasts ago, he either puts in a 2 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. Since Blackburn, I'd say he's been putting in 8 out of 10s. He's been fantastic and was superb last night. The 2 up front, Hogan and Duke, did their jobs. Just an amazing night to be a Blues fan, wasn't it?
I think, like we've said many times on this podcast, when it comes to Backer especially, it's not, no one doubts that the guy can play football. Fuck me, he's an incredible footballer and he's our most technically gifted player. It's his effort. And that, like you said, Zach, the last 2 to 3 games, he has worked his nuts off. And credit where it's due. Did great. Hannibal as well. So. And not
Brilliant.
just because he scored, got the assist, just his overall game. He especially didn't give anyone a second last night.
Yeah.
I know. Isn't it?
He's all over the shop. Yeah, not all over the shop in a bad way. He's just all over the pitch. His energy is incredible. I'd love to know what the odds were of Blues getting 6 points in the 89th minute against Swansea. I'd love to know the odds. 89th minute, 3-2 down, and someone comes along. You will now beat Swansea and beat Baggies. The way we've turned it around has been super. We've said it before. Football changes very quickly, and our next 2 games, not to go on to them yet, but obviously Cardiff and Huddersfield, 2 very winnable games. Football changes fast, and hopefully after that last night's win, it's just going to turn into the right direction again for Blues.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with a lot of what you're saying there. I feel like we just sort of nailed last night, really, fans and the players and the staff as well. And it felt like the best night we'd had since, I can't remember now, really. I think like a couple of the Monk games, really, under the lights were like some really great moments. They felt like we were going places, really. And it's a shame that we're in the position we are, really, because to touch on the ownership a little bit, because I mean, they weren't as bad as when they were with Monk, but still we had like recruitment issues. We still had players where we couldn't rest them just because the players that we had in backup were either too young or were coming back from injury. I think at one point we had Harley Dean and Michael Morrison in that Gary Monk season. I think one of them was pulling up a little bit. Actually, it was Dean, because he came out at the end of the season and said he had like injuries and he was playing through them towards the end of the season. So that's why his performance was dropped off. And the option was to bring in Dan Scarr, who hadn't played many professional games before, and to throw him straight into the deep end would have been the wrong choice. And and that's kind of where I feel like we are at the moment. We've got a really good team. We've got Hannibal, who's relentless, so much care, so much pride in this football ability. Bakuna's absolutely class on the ball. You can name the whole team pretty much. You can be like, yeah, we've got a really good team, but because we don't have the money to give some backup to these players like Trusty and players like that who've played pretty much every minute of this season, there's no rest for them. There's no options for them to go, right, I'm pulling up a little bit now. I've got a bit of a knock, but, never mind. I can rest for a couple of weeks. Let somebody, take my place for a bit. And then once I'm fit, I come back into the team and challenge for that position again. There is none of that. So we are literally, the team is being run into the ground. And that's why I feel like over that Christmas break, we've gone a bit under the radar, really, in terms of our form, just because we're like, can't keep up with it, really, because it's a bit too relentless. And the Championship is absolutely brutal. You don't win those games, you're straight down the back of the bottom of the table, aren't we? And a couple of wins, and we're looking all right again. So the team, we're always back in. So, yeah, there's no doubt about that. We're always really behind the team. always wanting to give them 100%, and they always do. I always feel like they always do put in 100% effort as well. Never this season have I gone. Maybe Rotherham, maybe was the only time I could think they were lacking a little bit in effort.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time it can. I think in the past it's been a lack of quality, and I think the only thing that frustrates me about a game last night is it shows that this team is capable of so much more, and it's. Don't get me wrong, every team in the world from Sunday League all the way up to Premier League is going to have blips. Like Man City will have blips, Arsenal will have blips, and Blues will have blips as well. The problem with Blues is these blips tend to last a little bit too long. So 5 games, that team last night does not look like a team that's just lost 5 games on the bounce prior to Swansea.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I expect Blues to go on a good streak, then lose a game, maybe 2. But 5 in a row, like it's costing us what potentially could be a good season. That team is capable of so much more, and they proved it last night. They've proved it previously against the likes of QPR. We just need to, when these blips do come, because they're inevitable, they'll happen for every team. When they do come, they need to be as short as possible, and they need to be dealt with as quickly as possible, so we can just get back onto a good track. So I think Blues is this team is capable of taking us to top half of the table this season. Just when the blips come, we've got to keep them as short and sharp as possible.
Yeah, I thought that towards like the middle bit of the season. I thought mid-table is nailed on. I thought we've had a decent season, you know. But yeah, like sort of going back onto what me and you were just saying there, it's just like, you know, sort of like injuries and sort of that sort of stuff has caught up with us really. Jamie, what do you think to all of this? Do you think it's been a good season?
Yeah, I do. I think we were always going to have a shit show after the Christmas period, as we always have in every season, eternity of being a Birmingham fan. We always just do awful after Christmas, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if our players, if something in the Birmingham water, that they just like mug them off for a month, or I don't know what's going on, but this thing happens. I didn't ever worry about relegation, genuinely. And I'm not saying I'm Jose Mourinho, lads, but I did say in the last podcast, become nasty bastards, play 4-4-2 and be a horrible bastard team to play against again, and it'll be all right. And it worked.
John Eustace has been listening to Jamie Lawler's tactics.
He listens to the pod the night before games, I hear.
Yeah.
He sits there with his notepad. As soon as Jamie speaks, he's writing things down.
Can you two like shut up? I want to listen to Jamie Lawler's football manager tactics.
There you go.
Listen, no, I'm not bragging, but my FM tactics are different gravy. I got Birmingham promoted first season, second place, and Troy got 33 goals in the championship. So
wow. Fair enough.
Fair enough. A computer simulation, lads.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
If
target forward.
If Eustace is stacked, you'll be getting an email the next day, mate. Yeah. Birmingham City Football Club.
We
heard what you've done on FM.
Beginner in FIFA, you know.
Yeah.
I'm mad, you know.
I think we'll be all right. Genuinely, I think we can push top half table now. Would I love playoffs? Who wouldn't? I think though, anywhere that isn't the bottom 16 or below would be great. I want to, like I said to you before, I want to get to March and be able to kick my feet up a bit and go, we're safe. We're safe.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think?
You want the magic 50, don't you? You want the magic 50 points, and that's why I said Cardiff and Huddersfield.
I think less than 50 this year.
It might be, but I think Cardiff and Huddersfield are 2 superb opportunities to pick up 6 points, and it would be so typical Blues to get a phenomenal result last night and turn it around against Swansea and then lose these next 2. It would be typical Blues. So we've got to go into those 2 games treating them like the West Brom game. We've got to go in all guns blazing again. We cannot afford to slip up if we want to survive, and we want to do a bit of a top half of the table push, mid-table push, whatever we want to do.
Sorry, what is Jamie doing?
I don't know.
Fly in my fucking face.
Did you see him like?
I can literally see it just in my eye line going like that.
Tai Chi. He's just like
Jamie's boxing a fly. I
wouldn't mind one of them really little hover flies, and it's literally in the eye line as well. I'm just like.
Oh man, no, I was just saying I think Cardiff and Huddersfield are typical Blues to slip up, so we've got to do everything we can to ensure at least 4 points from those 2 games, nothing less.
Agree. Yeah. And there's no excuse on Tuesday against Cardiff. I'm sorry to say it, but they've played a day after us. We've had a day's rest over them. They're in an absolute shit house of form.
They're a mess, Cardiff.
At the minute. We clearly didn't start Troy because Troy's going to probably start Monday. Longella will come back in, on Tuesday as well. Like, he'll rotate the squad a bit because, like you said as well, like in terms of the bench, we've got depth. We actually
do.
have some
We
squad
do.
depth.
Yeah, I
Gary
completely agree.
looked like he
Yeah.
had missed a beat last night. Gary could walk straight into the starting 11 and rest one of them.
It's yeah, we've got so much depth at them. I think it's the most depth we've had in quite some time, to be honest.
Do we?
100%.
We've got
Do you
more
see the
depth than we've had
bench
for a
last
long
night?
time.
Look, the starting team was good last night, and then if you consider Kedra and Longolo as well, our bench was Dean, Kedra, Longolo, Deeney, George Hall, Jordan James, George Friend. We've got depth at the moment, 100%.
Job's still out as well. Job's still yet to come back.
Do you really think we don't have depth, Tommy?
I think we have players. I don't think we have depth in positions though, because like Longolo is a left back, but Trusty played the left back last night. But technically, he's a centre back, isn't he? So we're moving the team around to make more depth, aren't we?
I think we've got the most depth we've had in a very long time. I think if we look at our team, we've got Deeney, Djukovic, Hogan as our strikers, and we normally play two. Kedra can play up
jump
front
up
as
there,
well.
yeah.
Wingers, Longolo can play out wide. Chong, Kedra can play out wide too.
Hannibal can play
Bakuna
out wide
sometimes
if
play out
need be.
wide. I think we've got plenty of depth at the moment. Gary Gardner, I didn't say on the bench. If you look at the starting team last night, it's strong. If you look at the bench, it's strong. And then to think we've got Kedra, Longolo, and Joe Ball out, I think we've got plenty of depth at the moment. Maybe it just in the left back role. Maybe we're lacking a little bit. Other than that,
My issue is
maybe right
18
back
games
as well.
time. That's when the issue flies in, lads. In 18 games, when 4 loan players fuck off. That's when we think about that. For this season, enjoy having some players.
Yeah, make the most of Hannibal, fellas.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I don't know actually though. I don't know. Maybe we do have some depth. I don't know.
I think maybe I exaggerate with a lot of depth. What I'm saying is we've had the most depth for a long time. We've had in the Birmingham squad.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think we've got a good amount of depth.
You consider the team we had this time last season. We were playing
JJ was playing every game at centre mid as well.
Yeah,
because we had no centre mids left, and he was blowing by 70. Like,
yeah, literally.
Yeah, we've got good depth compared to some teams in the Championship. We've definitely got good depth.
We still
could be better, of course.
Loan as well, and people like that. Remember, we've got loanees out as well.
Yeah,
we're doing all right. We're doing all right numbers wise. Not as good as Chelsea, but we're doing all right numbers wise.
They'll never run out of depth. They will.
No.
Let's talk a little bit about the protests before we get into the Cardiff review. What did we think to it last night? I was there. I don't think were you there, Zach, on the march?
I wasn't on the march.
You plastic! What on earth weren't you on the march? I want to know exactly why you weren't on there.
I was coming from the other direction in small leaf is my excuse.
Nah, in all honesty, I thought that was really well done, brilliant. There looked a very good number of people there. I thought, Tommy, you did very well to capture all the footage you did, and big up Jack right at the front. What a man! But no, I thought it was brilliantly executed, brilliantly done. It certainly got the publicity it deserved. It got the message out there. Obviously, Sky covered a good amount on it. I just think it was really well done, and hopefully it just gets the message to those who need to hear it.
Definitely.
Thoughts, Jamie?
Yeah, peaceful. It was peaceful, and that was the one thing that worried me is, how do I say this politely?
Don't build a bad reputation for ourselves.
Yeah, basically, all the people who are on about, do this, we're going to storm the pitch, we're going to, ruin the whole game. Lads, the last thing we need right now as a football club is another fucking fine, more point deduction, and more bullshit in this club right now. So the way we did it last night was impeccable, to be fair, by you guys. It was peaceful. You didn't piss anyone off. You got the message across very clearly, and Sky have now seen that this message is very clear from the Birmingham fans saying, we've had enough. These owners need to go. It was the best way it could have been done.
Yeah,
I did have a little bit of an argument. Well, not an argument, a bit of a back and forth with somebody.
A spar.
Verbal biff with somebody on the streets last night. Pretty much just saying the guy was pretty much just like, "Oh, here you go again." So I was like, "What do you mean?"
Tommy uppercutting him to the jaw. Sorry.
With my 2 minutes of boxing practice. But he was basically just saying, like, why you carry on doing this? And I won't bore you with all the details of like what it was, because it was just sort of like a crap argument, really. But he eventually came to the fact that if we do sell, will you stop these marches? Which was a stupid question, because I just went, yes, of course we will.
No, we just want to walk around the streets of Birmingham for Banch,
We're
just doing it for no reason.
We'll march around and say BSHL out 10 years after they're gone. Just because why not?
mate, they're gone. All right, you can stop now.
The point of
But
a
yeah,
protest
just
is to
wanna be
get your message
sure.
out there and a force for action. So yeah,
yeah.
insane.
It's literally because like that's the reason for these marches is to make a difference, and when the difference is made, then we're happy and we're content with it, and we can. And nights like last night will feel 10 times better because I was absolutely ecstatic with the win. But you look around and you think, well, the stadium's still half closed. You know that could add to the atmosphere, as well as the fact that, and then I'm not preoccupied by the thought of what happens after this. Now, do we carry on playing well, or a couple of losers time, are we then in the shit again? You know, what's going to happen to us? Where I can just sort of relax when I know we've got a bit of stability under. It doesn't even have to be like a Birmingham-based owner. It can just be somebody who gets the club and understands us and gives them the team some money to work with and get some players in the team.
Financial
That's
security would be great.
yeah, that's literally. It's like that is what we want. We're not asking for anything big. We're just asking for some investments, for some maintenance. You know, because that's with the stands and some stability
Yeah.
in terms of just working around the team as well. So that's when you consider like where we were in that. I'd say from 2009 to 2011 when we won the Carling Cup, we had a great team at that time. We had very
Oh,
good
we should never have
players.
gone down with that team. Never.
Yeah, literally, it's the thing because we look at this then and you think, well, we've got players like Phillips, Bowyer, Ferguson, Gardner, Ridgewell, Scott Down, Roger
Foster,
Johnson, Foster, Hart. A
Stephen
little
Carr.
bit of investments here and there, doing well. I understand Carson Young brought through some of those players, but it was working with David Gold and David Sullivan. That was sort of the idea with it. He was a big long. He was wanting to take over the club for a long time, so I knew that David Gold and Sullivan were still pretty much keeping the team afloat. But yeah, that's the sort of stability we can work with because even then we won the Carling Cup, yes, great an achievement, but we finished ninth in the Premier League and then still got relegated. But like the passion from the fans, it'll always be there. So just a little bit, you know what I mean? Like just some rock hard foundations, some stability for the team, and the fans will love it. And that's the thing. Like I'm looking around and thinking, just a couple of tidy up here, little things here and there, fix the stands, get a little bit of make the stadium look a bit more tidy as well. You know, just simple things. I think it comes to really win the Blues, and that can't happen when you've got no money. And I understand that as well. And I also understand sort of a little bit of a segue in this topic is the fact that most people don't want to come and join the march, and that there was amazing amount of people on it last night. It was absolutely fantastic to look at. I had my tripod with me. I could sort of extend it along the top and see over the top of everybody. And it was like proper sea of people. I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is, and that keep right underneath, that keep right on in that tunnel was just absolutely fantastic. The echo around it and everything. It was just like, oh, I remember why I love this club. This is just amazing. This is, but yeah, it's just like if people don't want to come on the marches, that's fine. But you've still got to be in support of the message. And if you're not, then what are you doing as a Blues fan? In my opinion, like I can't understand if you don't want the owners out and out as quickly as possible as well.
I don't.
I just don't.
I don't think there's any Blues fans who don't want BSHL out. I think. Yeah, I think people want to protest in their own ways. Some like to do it over social media. Some want to storm the pitch. Some want to do a march. I always think the best way of protesting is keeping it peaceful, yet still getting out the message, which I think is exactly what Blues did last night. But yeah, we just the key word we keep coming back to is stability, isn't it? That's my number one. I just want a club where I can think we're not going to go into liquidation. We're not going to get points deductions. I've always said this, and my dad's a big advocate for this as well. At the end of the day, as long as Blues are always here, I don't care. Like, of course, we might get relegated and go down to League One, League Two. We might go up to the Premier League. Who knows? But whatever happens, as long as Blues are always there and there's always a team to go and watch and support, I don't care what league we're playing. I'm not bothered what league we're playing in. I don't care who's on the pitch. We just constantly want a Blues. And to know we've constantly got Blues and a ground to go to and a team to watch, we need stability. We need that investment and we need that support from those higher up to ensure our club can be run properly. So hopefully things are sorted soon and just, yeah.
I like that. That's good. That is.
Yeah.
Just
My dad, I've stolen that off my dad. So sorry, Dad. He always says it, but yeah, he's right because it doesn't matter if we're playing in fucking Sunday League or the Premier League. As long as there's always a Birmingham City to go and watch and support, that's all that matters in it. So
Yeah, spot on. Well done.
Zach's
Well done,
inspirational. Yeah. Thank you, Matt Woods.
Big up.
I was interviewed by Sky last night. I can't remember the guy's name. I think his name is Daniel Craig. I know that's the same name as the actor who plays James Bond. But I think that's his name. I think that is genuinely his name, the reporter I was talking to. But I did do a report with him, and you'll see this in my vlog a little tiny bit. But if anybody can find that clip of me talking to this guy, then could you please send it over to me? Because I'd love to see that. I'd love to see me on the telly talking to the guy.
You vain bastard.
I know, I love it really. I just I'd like to see it though, because it was very spontaneous. Like we were I can't remember, like there was a couple of guys before me and they were doing the they were talking to the guy and they were all swearing and all full of it and they were loving it and everything. So obviously when they swear they can't use it for like live television broadcast. He came to me, I was like, right, I was just suddenly preoccupied by not trying to swear, because like when you come to me it's just like fuck this and shit that, it's just like constant swearing really. So I came across really serious in it. I was like really straight faced and just like not saying anything else. There was a couple of guys over the top of the camera just laughing at me because of how serious I was. I was like, maybe I should lighten up a little bit more and or at least be a little bit more emotional or whatever. I was literally just like this, was like, yeah, it's just, I hate this. How every time it comes to this, like, it's literally just like proper straight face and proper dead with silence. But literally, I was just trying to not swear at the time. I was like, I want to be used. I want to use this clip on Sky, literally. So, if anybody does have that clip of me, send it over to me on my Twitter. It's in the little bottom corner as well. You can also share the stuff to Mr. Zach Woods and Jamie Lawler as well on Twitter as well. They've got their ats there as well.
Give us a follow.
Gives them a follow. Yeah, that'll be very
Week
nice.
2 of asking Manny Longello to follow Zach.
Yeah, here we go. Come on, episode 2. Come on, Manny.
Come on, Longello.
Come on, Manny.
You need to follow him, man.
Been with you since day one.
Right, Cardiff. Let's talk about that. Going off the back of that 2-0 win, we confident for this?
I think so, but I don't like being a Birmingham fan when the odds are in my favour, because it always tends to fail. I think the last time we had something like this was Middlesbrough away and we got lost chat on 1-0, didn't we?
Yeah, that was in October time, I think it was, yeah.
Where we should win, we're the better team, they've got no manager. And we said that, didn't we? We said, how Birmingham is it we're going to lose this game? I think we win. I think another clean sheet. I think Cardiff look like they've got nothing. They've had an embargo. They're in a lot of debt. They're in severe, severe trouble. And that's coming from us.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Debt.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think last week on the pod I said I think Cardiff will go down this season. I believe they've just dropped into the relegation zone, as you said, Jamie. But I 100% believe we can get a result against Cardiff. Obviously, prior to West Brom, I wasn't confident at all. Genuinely thought Baggies would win last night. So glad Blues proved us wrong. But I'm hoping we can use this as a bit of momentum now. We've won 2 on the bounce. Cardiff are in horrific form. Don't think they've won since November. I believe that's correct. They've obviously got a transfer embargo. The club, like us, is a mess from top to bottom. But at least we've got some good players on that pitch. Because I don't know if you've seen Cardiff's team, but it's so depleted. But we've got some good players on our pitch. I really think we can get a result against Cardiff. And we, like I said earlier, we've got to, because we can't put in a masterclass against a challenging team like West Brom and then throw it away against a team we should really be picking up 1 to 3 points against. So a point at the absolute minimum, but we should be striving for all 3. And I think we'll get all 3. So I'm going to go 2-0 Blues against Cardiff.
Nice, yeah. Jamie?
I think so as well. I think we get 6 points in the next 2 games. I think Huddersfield are in free fall. I think it's come at the right time. I think we've finally broken the curse of the Christmas pain and we're through it and we're going to look good and we're being okay and the team's looking solid and long live the back 4.
Yeah.
Long live a back 4, because you know what?
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
All for it. Love the Duke while we still got him, guys, because you know what? He is unreal.
He's a beast, isn't he?
What
He's
a man.
machine.
What a man.
He's just it's annoying though, any Duke, because he's just, think about it. His aerial he's the king in the air. He's a handsome dude. Have you heard him sing on videos and stuff? The man can sing. Like, it's just
I was
ridiculous.
aroused when he was playing that
It's
guitar.
just
You know.
like, it's like, come on, like,
Is that staying in?
yeah, okay.
I'm surprised actually. 'Cause
Duke's a dude, man. Like,
he's a great man. He's a very
Yeah,
attractive.
what a
looking man.
bloke. The Duke is a great man. Love him to bits.
Side note, and this isn't going back on to what we were just talking about. I'm actually quite interested by the fact that he's left-footed, but he's a right-handed guitar player. Because using me as an example for this, I'm a right-footed footballer, but a left-handed guitar player. So nice, interesting sort of.
I'm right. Always
What's
right
that?
on both.
Ambidextrous, is it? So that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
That's
like
interesting, that is, isn't it? I just thought because he's absolutely horrific on his right foot, Lucas Jukovic.
I mean, he banged one against Forest Green this season.
I was gonna say, get the man some credit.
Did he? Oh, he did.
Yeah,
Fucking hell.
yeah.
Oh, I'll take that back then. That was a great finish.
We love you, Duke.
Tommy, do you
Ignore
not want Djukovic on the podcast or something?
Oh man, I thought he was left-footed. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. Tommy, prediction for Cardiff, and I don't want. I think it's going to be 0-0 or 1-1.
Yeah,
2-2.
get off your fence.
Come on. What's it going to be?
Do you want me to fall off like Humpty Dumpty in this?
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm unsure. Say it how it is, mate. Say it how it is. What we
With your
saying?
chest.
Well, after
Yeah.
you two have been so confident that we're going to win, and also talking about Cardiff being in full free fall, and particularly how bad West Brom were last night, considering they're sixth as well, I'm going to go 2-1 now, Blues. I think that's what I'm going to go for. I can't remember what my prediction was before. I think I had us losing, actually. I think it was 2-2 West Brom I had, and then Cardiff were.
I think you said a draw.
Yeah, I think so. I don't
We
know.
rinsed you for putting 2 draws in a row.
Yeah, because I did, because I didn't say that I don't want to have us losing in this podcast. I can think that we're going to lose. I can't predict we're going to lose, but I think we're going to win now.
Yeah, if Tommy had his way, Blues would finish on 46 points. They'd have drawn every game. Goal difference would be bang on 0.
Where would that put us in terms of the table if we did genuinely draw it?
I bet we
I
go
think so,
down.
Josh.
I think we go down. Yeah, 46 ain't enough.
I think so. Yeah, it's definitely down the bottom, particularly in the Championship.
Yeah, the only way we might be saved is a 0 goal difference, but not joking, because the teams normally down there normally have -10, -15, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's the only way to be saved. But let's aim a little bit higher than that. I'd say let's aim a little bit. But Tommy, you're going 2-1, are you now?
2-1, yeah, and then I want the Huddersfield scores as well, because we've both mentioned all three of us. Sorry, I've mentioned the Cardiff score. What's your Huddersfield predictions?
You
Go
go,
on,
Zach.
Jamie. There you go.
Talking about sitting on the fence, you two are always like, no, you go.
After you.
I don't think we concede a goal this week. In the next 7 days, I don't think Birmingham City concede. I think we shit on Cardiff 3 or 4-0, and I think we dick Huddersfield 2-0 away.
I love how confident Jamie can be.
Hey, I said 2-0 Albion as well.
I'm saying 4-0 against Cardiff, and then maybe a cheeky 5-0 against Huddersfield as well.
Troy and Hogan bag on Tuesday, I'm telling you now, and then Dukey shithouse as a back post header against Huddersfield Town. Mark my words, put your money on it. Jamie fucking Lawler is here with his betting predictions.
No, I like the optimism. I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna go a draw against Huddersfield. Contrary to,
come on!
I know. Sorry, I've got my reasons. I've got my reasons. I have my reasons. Firstly, I will be there. Firstly, I will be there, and for whatever reason, whenever I go away with Blues, we never get a result. I don't think I've ever seen Blues win away from home. So, that's reason number one. Reason number two is I believe Huddersfield haven't gotten a manager yet, have they?
I don't know. I'm sure they must have one when we played them, surely.
I don't. No. Oh, when we last played them, they did, but they've recently sacked their manager. That's what I'm saying. So they might have a bit of a new manager bounce as well. I think we very rarely tend to win 4 on the bounce. Like we very rarely win 4 on the bounce. So I think, coupled with a potential new manager bounce, Blues' form that never tends to last too long. I think I'm going to go for a draw, so I'm going to go 1-1.
Honestly.
Sorry,
Rinse me for
sitting
on the wall last podcast.
Well,
He mentioned I
I've
was going to
given
buy
my
everyone a
reasons.
pint.
Why am I buying everyone pints? I'm always buying everyone pints.
We didn't do that
Jamie just volunteers me.
we
Oh
didn't do
man.
that last night, actually. We should have met up for a... Actually, had you have come to the march, we'd have gone into that pub before, but Jamie was like, nah, I ain't walking that far.
Facts.
No, that's fair. Why wasn't I there actually? Why didn't I? Oh, I don't even
Fickle.
know. I must have just forgotten that we were planning on meeting up. Sorry, chaps. But we can do it for oh no, I genuinely can't choose. Whenever we're next at home on a Saturday, we can
Yeah, I think we'll do that.
grab a drink. I'll have a J2 or something because I'm a miserable fucking.
Oh God, honestly, I've got nobody.
Nah,
I've got no
I'll
friends who want to do
get
drinking.
I'll get a drink. I'll get an actual alcoholic beverage.
Oh God, what you
Huddersfield
said.
sacked the manager 3 days ago, by the way.
Yeah, no, I know,
Yeah.
I know. Have they got anyone
Yeah.
in since or not?
No.
No, that's what I'm thinking. They should have sorted it by the time they play us. A bit of new manager bounce. We'll see.
Well, you two, Karen, talking. I'm going to look up betting odds on because they're pretty good to go off who will be the next manager.
Okay, that's
You
interesting.
go for it. Go for it. Don't put a bet on it though. That's don't put a bet on it.
Yeah. Are you surprised actually how well Eustace has worked out? Because I was thinking at the start of the season, oh, this is going to be an hard season. This is, I had Steve Cottrell vibes from him. Not the same type of character,
really. Not necessarily, because I didn't think it could get too much worse. And let's be real, as much as it has been a good season, we are still 18th in the league, and that's not me being harsh because we have. It's been a good, probably the best season since Monk, but in terms of league position and actual like tangible results, and I don't just mean performances, I mean strictly points and where we are in the league. We're not that much farther ahead than we normally are. So I'm not being negative there. I'm just stating facts. We're normally around this position and we are in this position. So I wouldn't say Eustace. I'd say he's probably surprised a few people with the results and the performances. But in terms of league position, I don't think he's necessarily exceeded expectations. Having said that, though, in a week's time after Cardiff and Huddersfield, we could be saying something completely different. As I said, football changes quickly. But talking right now, as of the 11th of February, I'd say Eustace is probably just about... We're about where we expected to be. So I wouldn't say he's exceeded. I wouldn't say he's underachieved. I'd say we're about where we expected.
Yeah. This is an interesting question because obviously we've gone through so many managers over the last few years. Does he keep his job at the end of the season?
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
100%.
If there's an ownership change, does he still keep it?
Yeah, 100%. He's showing potential. He's showing potential which other managers haven't in the past. In the past, we've been around this position in the league, aka Bowyer, Karanka. However, performances have been poor. The way we've set up have been poor. The way we've been playing has been poor. However, under Eustace, yes, our position is similar, but performances have been much improved. We've been getting good results. I think the thing that's killed Eustace's bit is we'd pick up quite a few draws under both Bowyer and Karanka, but with Eustace, it's been either a win or a loss. Does that kind of make sense? Like, there's not really too many in betweens. And I certainly think that run of 5 games, that losing streak of 5 games has, heavily impacted our position in the league. Of course it will have done. So, Eustace 100% stays at the end of the season. And I think if anyone's opposed to that, you need to give your head a wobble.
I've seen that quote being passed around Twitter a lot recently.
I think I 100% agree with Zach. There is no way you deserve to sack Eustace. If this man has done this on a shoestring budget, if we get taken over and get someone beyond us, I'll be really interested to see what this man can do. Really interested. Listen, we can sack all the managers till Kingdom Come. The fact of the matter is the club's fucked, and it's fucked from the upper all the way down. So no matter what you do, no matter who you bring in, we're going to struggle. This manager's done really well with what he's got. Keep him. He's great. He's got a future. It's his second job in professional football. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, it is his second, isn't it?
Watford wanted him in the summer.
Kitty Harris was
That's it.
first.
I knew that,
Yeah. So
other teams wanted him as well. It weren't just like we picked someone out of the Shire who was shy. It's like Watford wanted this manager and we got him.
That is true.
So
yeah,
clearly we're not the only team that sees got something about him.
So if we do get taken over, theoretically, if we do get taken over, or at least have a new stakeholder in the team at the end of the season. Is that the message you'd want to send to the new people involved? To the sort of very much just keep Eustace, don't go with the big idea of getting a new manager involved.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be a wise thing to do. I think that'd be. Don't get me wrong, have I seen it work for other football clubs and done it? Yes, of course I have. But I think you should also give the man who's had to shoulder all this bullshit while he's trying to run a football club the chance to show that he can do stuff with investment.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's unfair on him morally as a football club. It'd be really, really horrible thing to do.
Yeah,
And this man
agree.
has brought unity back to this squad for the first time in about 6 to 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm connected to a football team for the first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I don't want to be known as one of those clubs, which I feel we are a little bit, that just sack managers until it works. Give managers the time, give Eustace the time. I think he's the first manager in a while that's shown glimmers of hope that we can truly, truly push on. So yeah, keep him at the end of the season and see where he can take us, hopefully, with a little bit of investment as well.
Jamie, have you got the odds up for the next Huddersfield manager?
So, according to Bet Victor, it is 1-1 for Neil Warnock.
Ooh,
wow.
Followed by Chris Wilder at 3-1.
Oh wow, okay. That's interesting.
Let me just check that he hasn't already been announced as manager, because knowing the Blues Focus podcast, this often does happen.
Sorry, 1-1.
That's
basically confirmed.
By Ronnie get a tenner, yeah. But Neil Warnock he's been their mouths for Portsmouth last month as well. And then did you see Neil Warnock's troll to Portsmouth, by the way? You know, he's doing this tour of the UK at the minute, doing like talks about his book and his life and stuff as a manager. Obviously, when Pompey didn't have a manager, everyone was tweeting him saying he joined in Pompey, and he literally tweeted saying, "Thanks for all your interest. I am going to Portsmouth on these dates." I was like, "You're such an asshole."
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I'd be fuming as a Pompey fan with that.
Mate was raging. He was like, "Dick."
Oh, that is evil. That is evil.
Chris Wilder, I think, walks into most jobs though, so I'm surprised Chris Wilder still hasn't been given a job.
Me too. I'm very surprised by that.
Does he get the Blues job if a new owner joins at the next season?
I thought I was taking it with my
Eustace
FN knowledge.
we trust. In Eustace we trust.
Speaking of which, actually, if we do win these next 2 games, are we still playoff contenders?
Yes, I think we're 6 points off the playoffs as it stands, aren't we?
Any team who is 20th or above is a playoff contender with how mad this league is at the minute.
Yeah.
I know.
He's a playoff and relegation candidate.
I think what I've just read is results went really in our way today. So apparently, if we win on Cardiff, we have the chance of 11th.
Yeah. So as it stands, the time is 5:30 on Saturday. So obviously the 3 o'clocks have just been finished. So we are on 38 points. We are still, fellas. We're 8 points off the playoffs. And we are 9 points off the relegation zone. So don't get me wrong, there's still a long way to go, but 2 wins against, and that's not, we're not saying we are going to win these games. We're just speaking hypothetically. But say we do win these 2 games, we're back in it. So yeah, a really good opportunity to slowly work our way back up the table. Look, there are still 16 games left this season. That is a possible of 48 points still up for grabs. We can really, really work our way up the table. Should we improve, keep consistent, keep this momentum going, get a few more wins under the belt, and keep these performances right up there with the very best, and we'll have a good chance.
Speaking of which, we've got a question. We do questions on every single podcast now. From Xavier. I can't pronounce you. I'm sorry, bud. It's Aaron, though. I know you well, bud. Do you think the system used yesterday is the way forward now, with both Longello and Cadra to add to it?
Yeah, I think it is. I think he's speaking in terms of using the 4-4-2. And yeah, I completely think it is. I think what we did very well yesterday as well with using the 4-4-2 is we pressed from the front. So as soon as West Brom had the ball in their defensive half, we weren't letting them come at us. We did a little bit more second half, but that's obviously just fatigue. But certainly first half, we were straight on them. We were on their first touch. David Button, I think it's David Button, but Button quite a lot last night, was opting to go short to his defenders, and we were straight on that. So we pressed really well from the front. 4-4-2, we looked comfortable. As I said, Trusty looked more than comfortable at left back. Long had a good game last night. Obviously, Longolo and Kedra are two great additions should they be needed at any point. So yeah, I think 4-4-2 is the way to go.
Jamie?
I can't add anything else to what he's just said. I completely 100% agree with that
Spot
whole
on,
thing.
yeah.
Like, what more can you say to that?
Thank you.
Not on. Correct. 4-4-2 is the way forward as well.
Yeah, completely.
30 working class football team style will keep you in this league, if not push you up it. 100%. It's that simple. Dirty football. Love it.
Next question from Damien. What are your thoughts on Jeremy Dale sitting next to Craig Gardner and the rumours that Sullivan is in his consortium? One on the owners, this one is.
By us.
Yeah,
Just do
saw
it.
this.
Give us money.
Yeah, we saw this. Yeah, absolutely. It'd be obviously fantastic if, look, let's be real. I don't care who buys Birmingham City Football Club. Absolutely anyone at this point is an upgrade. The fact Jeremy Dell is sitting next to Craig Garner last night hopefully shows that something is happening. I don't think he'd be there if it wasn't. So yeah, I think it's hopefully things are starting to move in the right direction. Hopefully our messages are getting across. But as I said, don't care who buys it. We just want some stability. We just want some investment, and we just want to be pushing this club forward.
Yeah,
So,
what more do you want? Like, we're literally in the bin, and we want someone who's just financially stable. Is he financially stable? Damn right, he's going to be more stable than these we've got anyway at the minute.
Yeah.
Alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think that BSHL aren't a unstable business, to be fair to them. They're just not stable for us as a club, aren't they?
Oh, no, of course not. Don't get me wrong. In terms of the business BHL, I don't think they're financially in any difficulty. I just think they're dickheads. That's the issue. Like, to put it plain and simple, they're assholes and they're twats and they're money grabbing and they're sucking the life out of this football club, and it's that simple. They're twats and they're dickheads.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think with Gardner being on the board, and you can have your opinions on Gardner, I think it's a better way for the club to be ran, at least, because you can have you can have a bit more of a connection there, because there will be people who do like Gardner. I know that there are people who don't like him, but I feel like, with him in the background and him working with Dale or whoever else he decides to bring in. What was that? I just heard a scream in somebody's background noise.
I think it's
Flatmate's probably playing Call of Duty. He's always fucking playing games. I don't know what he's playing, but
sounds like he's not very good as well.
I know. Trust me.
I was just talking. I was like, I heard this almighty scream. Then I was like, God, is somebody?
I panicked because I'm in the manager's office, so I was literally like,
yeah. What the hell's gone on there, man?
Uni halls, mate. Uni halls.
Yeah, pretty much my point was that I feel like it's good for the sort of connections between the fans and the board, really, because you consider how much there is at the moment. And we've got Gardner on the board, we've got Ian Dutton on the board, he's a Blues fan. That's about it, really. In terms of like actually being a club with a lot of communication and connection to these people, it's just like absolutely nothing, really. And yeah, I feel like that would be a good I can't fucking speak. Sort of still thinking of that scream, really. Yeah, it's basically, I feel like it'd be okay, I don't know about David Sullivan being in his consortium. One of you might have to fill me in on that. Is that like a genuine...
I'm not too sure about that, to be honest. I haven't looked too much into it. I'm sure Al Majir will have written something or know something on that, but no, I don't know.
Because he was interested with Bassini, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah.
And that would have been a car crash.
That's honestly that's the first I've heard of Sullivan since the Bassini stuff going on. So I honestly not too sure. Hopefully he's giving us some money soon. Hopefully just injecting some cash into the club soon if he is part of the consortium. But yeah, we'll have to see.
I still listen back to that phone interview we did with TalkSport, just in case I've ever had like a sad day or something. I'll just go and listen to Bassini talk to Simon Jordan.
Shut up, Bassini.
Simon. Zach can't ever see the funny side of things. He either gets really happy about things or we're really pissed off.
It's just it annoys me. That annoyed me so much because it's not logical thinking. It's just speaking. As he literally went in there and said what the fan. All he did was go on and say what the fans want to hear, and he didn't think about anything logically. He just said what he thinks he wants people to hear, and it annoyed me so much. I'm going to
That
win the
makes
league.
it funny because he's a fucking idiot.
I know, but I'm going to win the league. We're not going to win the league. We want you to come on here. This isn't a joke. Come on here. Take it seriously. Give us some realistic goals. If he said, I'm going to invest a couple of £1 million, we're going to slowly progress, move up the league, and hopefully push for a playoff place in the next 3 to 4 years. Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Bassini. Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to chuck some money and we'll win the league. I mean, come on. Come on, though. This man was about to run our football. Do you know what I mean, though? It's ridiculous.
I do, yeah. Do you not think, though, that his I don't know how to describe it, actually, but like his belief in his system and the way that it could have worked.
It's not belief. It's not
Who
belief.
knows?
It's
Had
not
he
belief.
taken over it might have worked.
He was saying what we want to hear. He was saying what it's not belief. I'm telling you, it's not belief. It's pure denial. And he simply came on TalkSport that day to get the fans on his side and say what he thinks we wanted to hear, when that is not what we wanted to hear at all. We don't want to hear some high in the sky ideas because we know it does. Blues aren't going to win the league. It's very, 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 very rare a football club can turn themselves around that quickly within a year. It just doesn't happen. It's for Blues to go from where we are now to playoff contenders or title challengers takes a long, long time. It can't just be done in a year.
Yeah,
so to come on,
5 years in the making.
Say all that, it's just ridiculous. So that's my Bassini rant done anyway. But
no, I completely agree with that actually, because the last time we got promoted, really, we were definitely title contenders that season with Phillips and McLeish and everything. You know, we were decent. You know, well, we didn't play great football that season, but who cares? We still went up. We went.
We never
up
did with McLeish.
No, we played some pretty shit football from time to time. Really, it was still fun to watch though. You know, because it was just like have a barge about for a bit. Really, it was got us the Carling Cup win, that's for sure. But I feel like you're right in that way, because to turn the club around. I mean, I was thinking about Wolves at one point because they won the league, but the year before, I think they finished like 12th or something. Even still, though, they weren't in the position we were, where we had.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Financial debt.
There are some cases where a football club can turn around very, very quickly. Let's look at Forest last season, who were bottom and made a push. And I guess you could argue West Brom this season who have turned things around. But to go from fucking 17th and below for the last 7 years to then next season magically winning the championship, I wanted him to come on, speak sensibly with realistic goals. Not these pie in the sky ideas. It's true. It's true. It's true. I just want Blues to move forward, man. And I'm so done with all these clowns running the club and potentially running the club.
Zach's trigger is Bassini. That's noted.
Yeah. Oh,
Jeremy's such a shithouser, honestly. I was talking to him the other day and he was just winding me up. I was like, lads, I know what you're doing already, man.
Oh man, wrap this up, Tommy.
I thought he would have been a good owner for us personally.
Oh man, he's already walked up. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Blues Focus podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and be sure to give us a follow on the Sports Social Network on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and also Google Podcasts as well. I didn't know we were on that. We will be back after the Cardiff game, I imagine on Wednesday night. We record these sort of afternoon times nowadays. We don't have too much of a strict schedule, so I imagine it'll be sort of around that time. Yes, you've been listening to Mr. Jamie Lawler and Mr. Zachary Woods. Thank you guys for joining me as usual. And yeah, thank you very much. Keep right on.
Keep right on.
I've mistimed this.